This video is 46 great ways on how to cope with self-isolation and depression in the year 2021, and this is our first YouTube video. So my name's Shane Palmer with Inspired by Shane. Our website is www.shane.coach. I'm going to go and touch through these points briefly. Let me know if there's anything you want me to elaborate in the comments. But there's a few ways of how you'll be able to cope and keep your mind occupied with lockdown and what have you. So there's no order of importance or value. Some really great ideas right throughout. So you might want to keep some notes. But here's 46 great ways on how to cope with self-isolation and depression in the new year, 2021. And this is our first YouTube video. So the first one is choices. Essentially, you want to keep yourself busy. Choices define or determine everything in our lives. You can wake up and first thing is, how do you choose to feel? Are you grateful or are you pessimistic, thinking, I'll stay in bed, I'll waste around a few more hours, and you're just wasting your time away. So choices, determine our output and our outcome of life, really. So it's nice to make a choice that's going to help create the life that you'd rather have. So taking action on things, choosing to feel, positive or as opposed to negative, which will lead to a more positive outcome. Number two is attitude. So similar thing really, but keeping your attitude positive, because in my opinion, from what I've experienced from my life, is having a positive attitude will help you lead a positive life. If you have a negative attitude, you're likely to lead a negative life. It's like how you embrace or encounter new situations and scenarios. If things don't go to plan, do you see it as a problem and and then you just put it to bed, or do you think, okay, well, this is a challenge, how can I get around it? And it's about your attitude and to determine your happiness, really. It's not, life isn't a journey of achieving happiness, it's realizing the journey is where you want to be happy, because before you know it, it's past. And it's just something just to keep in mind. Number three is perception, and how you perceive yourself. Are you a winner or a loser? Do you see your perception of yourself will determine everything. If you're more comfortable in yourself and your skin and happy with yourself and perceive things as blessings and see things as in the positive light versus the negative light, that things aren't working out for you regardless of what happens. If things go bad, cool, it may be that that's meant to have happened, but can you see the positives out of what's happened? Whatever that might be, setbacks in life happen, and it's only through the crap that we grow. If things are always going good, believe me, you won't grow. You're just gonna keep thinking, oh, things are great, fantastic. You'll get complacent, and I've been there. So it's worth knowing that perception on your reality. See it as a winning attitude. Not faking it till you make it, but sort of. Number four is music. Music's been such a massive part, a huge influential part of my life. I've grown up living on hip hop music mainly, hip and rap, and lyrics for me really resonate. Beats are good, to each their own, but for me, lyrics, it's a really deep narrative of individuals and their stories, and you can relate with people so well. So music for me has really helped me being independent, being in sales my whole life and being alone a lot on the road. When I was in medical, I was always on the road, ridiculous amounts of hours a day, 5-6 hour journeys one way. So you've got to learn to be comfortable with yourself, and music was a huge mechanism of how I kept myself going, but also with other things. Number five is practice breathing. Something simple like a 5-second in, 10-second out really works, and I'll give you an example. So close your eyes. Now, that wasn't quite 5 seconds in. I'm a bit nervous, so that's going to show. But yeah, you want to give yourself, do that more than once. Do it, as many times as you need. But take 5 seconds in, 10 seconds out, and you'll find it starts to really calm your nerves. Your blood pressure should drop. Your heart rate should drop. Things like that will have a impact on your anxiety, your stress, your mindset. You'll start to be more relaxed in yourself, and that will have an effect on everything. Number 6 is showing gratitude. So, gratitude is so important. Just being grateful and appreciative of every single thing that happens, every encounter. If somebody's happy or friendly, smiles at you, smile back, be happy, be grateful that people are interacting and being positive. If people put food on your table, a roof over your head, whatever, just be grateful of the life you have, that you have a chance to live another day and have an impact on helping other people. Gratitude is vital, but I understand things aren't easy for people depending on where you are in your life, but gratitude really will pay dividends in your life, so it's worth keeping in mind. Number 7 is your job. When I was in finance in Switzerland, we used to tell our clients that your day's 24 hours, so it's split into 3/8. So 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours leisure, and 8 hours of work. So, you commute to work and back. You're, most of your time is really spent at work, because if you work like I do, it is more than 8 hours that you do. that you do. So it's worth keeping in mind that your job is really important. And if you're doing something that you don't feel valued, you're just coasting and just going through the motions, dragging yourself out of bed to go to a job you don't enjoy, then you're not going to be a happy person. I don't care what people say, it has a huge impact. So if you find you're not enjoying what you do, maybe do something that you do enjoy, something going towards that path. Or it all starts with one little thing, making the choice. A journey of 1,000 miles. I've got this banner in my room. It's a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and so it's so true. It only begins from the choice of you deciding that I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that and achieve this life or be this person. And it only happens, a magic wand's not going to come and save you. You've got to figure out, what am I here for? What am I doing with my life? And if you can't find the job, then cool. It may be that you just got to pick up a lot of experience. I've done that. I've done a lot of jobs. But it leads me on to number 8, which is start your own business. Because if you can't find something that really resonates with what you want to do, then you may just want to do something for yourself and put your voice out there, which is, I'll practice what I preach. I believe that's vital. You've got to practice what you preach. If it's not advice you'd give, then don't give it. So I created 2 businesses this year. Onda CBDs. One, Onda is a lifestyle brand and a CBD brand, and inspired by Shane. So I feel like I've created 2 entities that can really have an impact and help people, and that's my I feel is why I'm here and why I've lived through the crazy life that I've had, and why I'm still here to live and breathe and speak another day. And I think that comes on to number 9. It touches into purpose. I feel my purpose is to do these things. Don't want to go too airy fairy and in the clouds with it all, but I've gone through a lot of crazy things, and it feels like every single thing that's happened has jigsaw pieced me together to do this. So I'll quickly tell you about this. I was in an accident in 20th of January 2009. Got severe brain damage, metal pole in this arm, so 19 screws, fractured it, broke this finger, punctured lungs, quite a few things, and lost my memory, my short-term memory, my speech. I had a stutter, a slur, a stammer. You couldn't understand me. My short-term memory was terrible, but I'd lived a pretty good life. I'd earned a lot of money at that age. 20 years old I was. I'd earned good money, I had a great car, good life, but it could have all been the end of it there and then. And my vision, my drive was like, well, if I've had that before, I want it again. I'm 20 years old, I've lived. I need to build myself back up. And I went on to do loads of different things. What I felt were my calling, what I felt was what was meant for me. Taking deep chances and risks, and just thinking, well, the outcome is either way I win. Either I succeed, which more often or not I did, and if not, then you learn. So it's a win-win situation. So I went out and did all these things. I've come back in to doing this. Life coaching has been something I've done my whole life. People have always told me you should be a speaker or NLP coach. You should have your own business, and that you talk too much. So this year I decided, after doing a year and a half worth of being a CBD specialist and dropshipper manager, and consulting people day in day out, that the time had come, and the world really had hit a point where it needs it. If I can't do what I feel is really going to help people for my own reasons, then there's no point feeding another person's business for something that I don't really believe in if I don't feel the value is there for people. Okay, cool, you can buy things, you can sell things, whatever, whatever your job is, but my personal feeling was that, or is that, I need to do what I feel I am here for, which is my purpose, and I feel like I am in my element. I'm doing exactly what I enjoy and what I feel the world needs, and I'm happy to put myself out here. This isn't comfortable for me. I don't enjoy speaking on cameras and putting myself out there, but this is what I'm here for. And a bit like the Batman, I'll be wherever the world needs me to be, and I feel this is it. So let me know what you think. I'm more than happy to hear what people think about this. But anyway, so number 10 is productivity and time management. So we all have 24 hours a day. As I said, we have 3/8. So yeah, your work pretty much accounted for. If you do something you enjoy, fantastic. If not, cool, maybe you can look at that. 8 hours of sleep, okay. Then you've got 8 hours of leisure. And how are you spending that 8 hours of leisure? We've all got, give or take, 8 hours. Yeah. So are you managing that time as best as you can? Are you just watching TV and just thinking, I wish I was doing this, or I wish I could do that, and just having your music just inside your ears and not doing anything about it? Or are you, like I do, what I choose to do quite often is keep an old school pen and paper and just keep notes and just constantly just write out things I need to do, or that I have to do today, or that I know that if I don't get them all done, cross out what you do. If not, and it comes to look a lot of a mess, then rewrite a new one. But just the ones that you haven't achieved, put them on, and just go through life just achieving. And you start to feel good that you're achieving and crossing off things that you have to do. And that otherwise, if you don't write them down and have them as an actionable task and chunk life down, you never achieve what you really can achieve, because it's all a blur. And I'm sure you can appreciate starting up 2 businesses, on the CBD and Inspired by Shane, with so much attention to detail on both businesses. There's been a hell of a lot of information that I've had to learn, a hell of a lot of information that I've had to regurgitate and structure. And I can promise it really hasn't been easy, it really hasn't. But the point of what I'm trying to get to is, through managing my time and being as productive as physically possible since I started this earlier in the year, it's allowed me to get so much done with my time, and to have both products or both services available this year. And I'm really proud of that, because I've been able to do them in such a short amount of time, but with an incredible team of people that have been able to help me and assist me to achieving these things. So I just think being organized really can help. Otherwise, if you what is it? You plan to. I can't think of the saying now, but you fail to plan, or you plan to fail, or something like that. But the point is that if you don't plan, you're more likely not going to achieve. If you do plan, you've got more chance of achieving something. So that's that. Number 11 is money, So whether you're making it, saving it, spending it, if you're spending it, cool, you reward yourself. Otherwise, what's the point? But investing is good. Investing it in yourself, there's so many ways of making money nowadays. We've all got a phone, we've got access to the internet, which I didn't have as a kid. A lot of us didn't. And the potential is huge. You can invest in things. You can buy crypto, stocks, bonds, forex. You can buy and sell things. Start a dropshipping page, whatever you want to do. There's so many things. So if money is a problem, let me know. We can talk about some options of what you can be able to do if that's a challenge for you right now, which I'm sure it is for a lot of people. That's cool. There's also a hell of a lot of opportunity in a recession, historically. So it's worth keeping in mind. It's about your, the opportunities, not the challenges. There's always going to be challenges and always going to be opportunities, no matter where you get in your life. That's going to be a constant. But what happens is you've got to learn how to cope and handle the challenges and emotions in life. You can't just run from them and expect them to go away, because that's not going to happen. But anyway, so number 12 is habits, and it kind of touches into that, but creating good habits and trying to suppress and trying to stop your bad habits, I guess. I'm not perfect, I'm not a saint, but I don't think anyone is. Sorry, I'm a bit cold. It is the UK and it is December, so I'm going to be put in the sun. Apologies. So, habits, if you can create good habits in your pattern of life, and sorry, I'm not covering my mouth, I don't want to muffle the microphone, so I'm conscious it can make quite a loud noise. But habits, if you can create good habits and try and stop your bad habits, and it's just the first thing about it all really comes down to is acknowledging yourself. If you can acknowledge what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and being conscious of that and being self-critical, you have to be self-critical. It's nice to be nice to yourself, but it's better to be honest with yourself, because you can start to really address parts of where you feel you're weak, or where you feel like you need to improve on, or you want to improve on, whatever it might be. And habits will create a pattern of behavior. Your pattern of behavior will then become, subconscious. That'll become a normal part of your life. And before you know it, you start to do these things without thinking, and that's what the point is. And they say what habits are created over a 28-day period of doing the same thing. So if you can structure something toward that, then great. Routine is number 13. So yeah, a bit into habits, but routine is creating that pattern, your daily rhythm or routine, or even if it's a weekly cycle or a couple of weeks, whatever. But create yourself an achievable structure. Because in sales, in anything in life, goal setting, it's great to have a idea or a dream or a goal. But if you don't actually have a structured route of achieving that goal, then it is just a dream. It's not an actual objective of yours. Otherwise, you take it seriously and do something about it to make it achievable. And trust me when I say that anything you want in your life is in your grasp. It is well within your grasp. Things that I wanted throughout my life as a kid, at 32, I've pretty much had most of it. There's not much that I want out of life that I don't already have. So these things can really, really help make a difference. And I truly believe that. Anyway, number 14 is long walks. I choose to take long walks quite often. If I can every week, I'll go for a long walk. I'm lucky to have a nature park near where I live. I've grown up near it my whole life, and I just go there. It brings back nostalgic feelings, but also just resonating with nature and having peace and quiet, or maybe listen to some music, whatever, and just be at peace. Clear your mind. With motion comes emotion. You start to think of things that you would never think of, just because you're just walking and just not thinking or thinking, whatever. And it really can be quite helpful. Number 15 is bike rides. So I loved to take bike rides as a kid, actually at the same park, and I didn't have a bike for a couple of years, so just bought one for like £200. nothing amazing, but serves a purpose. And get out and just go for a little ride. Um, it's worth doing if you've got the time. If you want to get out, it's great exercise. You get to see parts that you've never seen, because on the roads you're going to see the parts on the roads, but on the paths, with a bike you've got back paths and cycle routes and what have you. So you can just learn to explore and just have a bit of fun and freedom. I think that's important. Number 16 is exercise. So whether that's you want to do gym or gym work, or some sort of class or martial arts or whatever, something that's going to keep you disciplined is good, but something that's going to keep you active and keep your blood flowing and keep everything just going in your body, because you need that. We've got like a pharmacy or a chemist in our body, and these things are released when we do certain things. Same sort of triggers that happen when we're on social media or playing games, or winning at a casino or winning a football game. Whatever it is in life, we have these chemicals, and they're released when we do certain things. And with martial arts and discipline and getting your exercise going up, and these things release chemicals in your body which will help you feel better, more achieved and more driven. You just feel better by doing these things. I can't say it's for everyone, but it's worth trying these things. There's exercises and things you can do, even if you sat down. If you've got a busy life or you're office based or you can't get up and get out, there's all sorts of things you can do. So just keep it in mind. Number 17 is extreme sports, climbing, adrenaline. So yeah, not all a big cup of tea of mine, but not my cup of tea even. I've done rock climbing, abseiling, stuff like that. It's great fun, getting out, doing whitewater rafting and stuff. Really cool, really cool. I wouldn't really jump out of a plane, but if that's what you're gonna do, cool. Anything like that is really gonna get your blood going, get your heart going, make you feel alive, and that's a great feeling. Of course, don't risk yourself, but some of these things can be really rewarding mentally. Number 18 is your diet. So what you eat, it has a massive part of who you are, because if you're eating a lot of processed foods or constantly eating meat, you're going to feel tired and sluggish, or you're not going to feel at your optimum. I used to be a huge meat eater back in the day. I'm a lot more, I'd say, vegan based diet now. About 80% of my diet is vegan. I still have a bit of meat and dairy. It's pretty hard not to. But I do feel better as a result. Less processed things, less acidic foods, more alkaline, because that has an impact on your body. There's a lot of things, but diet is quite important. Number 19 is CBD. CBD is pretty new. You may have heard of it, you may not. But there has been a lot of claims of where it's helped change people's lives, and something that can change someone's life, to me, isn't something to be taken lightly. I think there's a lot of potential with that. But yeah, I don't want to go on too much about CBD. If it is something you want to learn about, then follow us at onthecbd.com or at onthecbd on Instagram, Facebook, and what have you, and we'll go into more on that. Number 20 is friends. So I think friends and everyone you meet and interact with and engage with in your life sort of come with a purpose. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think they're all good. Whatever bad thing happens, it's going to teach you good things, or things how to grow. But your friends, I mean, some people may not have friends, and that's not ideal. But if you are struggling with friends, then fine, I'll be your friend. If you want to speak, cool. If you don't want to be my friend, that's fine as well. But drop me a message. If you want to learn how to make friends, then fine. It is challenging. It isn't easy, but there are so many ways. The world's more connected now than ever. So if there is something you want to learn on how to do, then let me know. But so far, if you're enjoying this, then give us a like or a dislike on these 46 great ways on how to cope with self-isolation or depression in the new year of 2021. This is our first YouTube video, so yeah, you can tell I'm a bit nervous, but I'm pressing on. So 21 is family. Okay, so family is, you can't pick your family. Your family are the people that you're born into, um, but they have a huge. You can learn so much from your family. I think it's so important, and regret's a big thing as well. Not to regret not spending time with family, or making the most of the time that you have with people, is something that I think you don't want to have. You don't want to have any regrets in life. So it's worth making effort and keeping good relations with your family and interacting with them, and learning from them. I think even in times like now when it's quite difficult, if you can figure something out, like get an iPad or a phone or something, and give it to an elderly family member that you've not been able to see, sanitize it and what have you. And then I did that for my grandma, and gave her my iPad, so at least we were able to interact and speak to her, and she can see people without causing too many problems. So that's something just to keep in mind, and keeping in touch with family. Number 22 is time for you. So the most important person in your life is yourself. So invest in yourself. Spend time alone, and no music, no distractions, and just think and just listen. Listen to what listen to what your heart's asking and telling you. Listen to what you have within. That's what really counts. And start to find yourself. I spent a year out of working full time when I was 29, sort of for that purpose. And I don't think I'd be where I am without that year. I still worked, did a couple of days, sweeping floors, washing dishes, serving drinks and things like that. Just so I could have my time for myself, 3 or 4 days a week, to read and write and explore and find myself. So I think that's why we're all here. We all have an individual purpose. We're not all the same. We're all different, and I think now is the time for people to address themselves and feel what they've really been feeling within themselves, instead of being a certain way because they wanted to fit in with certain friends or certain people. Conformity, and I've been there. I felt that as a kid. I never really fit in with people. I've got a lot of friends, hell of a lot of friends. Some came and went, but I was adapting and changing me to fit in and blend in with other people, which may not have been the right thing, but you live and learn, and without that knowledge early on, we may get misguided and try and do them things. But anyway, number 23 is puzzles. So crosswords, word searches, quizzes, things you can do that are just going to help keep your brain going, keep your mind active, and keep your your knowledge expanding. You want to constantly expand your knowledge and keep developing and keep yourself sharp. 24, board games. So doing something physical, like a board game with family and friends, or physically moving a chess piece or shuffling some cards. It's a really nice feeling in a world where everything is digital, where you're just flicking and swiping and all these things with your screen. My thumbs are starting to kill me. So being a bit more old school and doing these things can be great. I don't know if that was 23 or 24, but that was puzzles. 24 being board games. Yeah, even Monopoly, a game of life. Whip them out, have a good time. I mean, it's Christmas very soon, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of Monopoly boards thrown over pretty soon. Number 25 is laughter. Probably it should be number 1 for me. I think laughter is so important. I enjoy laughter so much. I watch comedy and stand up all the time, and you just want to feel good. I don't understand why people want to watch horror films or dramas, because what you engage with sort of becomes your reality. What you absorb, it becomes you. And laughter, I mean, I try and laugh as much as possible because it has a good impact on your health and on, like I say, the chemical balance in your body. But it's just good to make you feel good as well. And if you can laugh, highly recommended. Number 26, we did this a few times. Let's rent a boat. So get a couple of friends if you can. If you want to go on your own, cool. A clear day ideally, and get some drinks, get some food, some cards, whatever you want to do out there, some music, smokes, and just chill, and just enjoy it in the peace and quiet. Or we've done it, and it's been some of the best memories I've had of just spending time with friends and just being free. So that's worth doing. Number 27 is art. So like whether that's painting, crafts, just expressing your creativity. I mean, that's been known in itself, things like music and doing these things have been known to help develop your brain, certain parts of your brain, which will really help you in life, and just gelling everything together and making you, stronger and sharper. Number 28 is knitting. Not something I do, but I know a lot of people that do and that are really talented, and it's really rewarding for them. I've actually got a gift from a old colleague of mine, Lynn, who actually knits, and some really, really, really nice stuff. And if that's what you're into, or you enjoy, or you can do, then great. If you just express yourself in some form or fashion, it's great. Sorry, put the heater on again. Number 29 is creative arts. So things like dancing, drama, singing, things that you feel you're talented with, but don't have the confidence to do them. Take it from me, I'm not that confident with them things, or performing on the stage, and even this. But I've done acting, modelling, whatever, dance. I did drama. These things, not because I wanted to, maybe because I needed to at the time, or whatever it might have been. But by doing them things, maybe gave me the confidence to get up in front and do this right now. So even if it's something you enjoy and you're embarrassed with or embarrassed about, I mean, I was in the choir as a kid. Maybe not something I was so proud of, or maybe not the best thing that you gloat around, but I used to sing, and I was a pretty good singer, so that was something I enjoyed. It didn't really carry on after puberty, but one of them things, that wasn't my calling. But if it's something that you really enjoy or really want to pursue, then definitely give it a try. It can be really rewarding. Number 30, your pets. I don't have any pets myself. I had goldfish as a kid, and I killed them. I probably overfed them, I think. So that was that. But I've got friends that have got cats, dogs, and really, really, really nice to just spend time with them, have fun, and enjoy their company. But pets aren't a toy. They're not for a day. You really got to make sure you're aware that you can look after them and feed them and take care of them properly, which is why I don't have a pet. I don't have the time. I'm rarely in one place. So right now probably isn't the best of times for me, but pets can be really rewarding. Doesn't mean to say that I don't have a good relationship with animals. I've always had a really good relationship with animals for some strange reason. But yeah. Number 31 is beliefs. So beliefs, your faith, your hope. What do you believe? Is it religious? Is it spiritual? It's sort of irrelevant, because in my opinion, religions, belief, anything of that sort is positive. They all pretty much have the same guidances and structures and intents. The golden rule, treat others as you wish to be treated, is consistent in so many of them. So I don't think there's one right religion or one right belief form or structure. In fact, any form of it is supported by quantum physics and that the law of attraction and all these things that can really have an impact on manifesting a manifestation of creating your hopes into reality. You're increasing the chances by just having that hope, by having that faith in whatever, in the unknown, and it has sorry, it has been known to have an impact, a positive impact, increases your odds. So just if you don't believe in something, if you think, you know, it's all rubbish, okay, I hope you try and maybe be a bit more open minded in future and consider that, you know, we're all wrong at times, but we're all right at times. You know, a broken clock is right twice a day. So, you know, put your hands up and say, okay, cool, I might not have been right, but actually this is really, you know, eye opening, or it really has some value and good intent. So yeah, just maybe look into a few things like Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever. 32 is Feng Shui. So again, bit of a niche one, but Feng Shui, if you into a Japanese culture, then, you know, putting parts of your furniture in alignments and in certain structures and plants and things like that, for the energy flow in your home, which is really important because it's where most people are now, all the time. And if you're in a cluttered environment, or an environment that isn't pleasant for you, then your reality may not be so pleasant because you've got a cluttered environment. So Feng Shui is worth looking into if it's something that interests you. But 33 is meditation. Now, meditation is not the easiest of things. Meditation can take a lot of hard work and persistence. Counterintuitive, yeah, I know, but anything worth having in your life is usually not so easy to just get. If it means that you've got to try and you fail, if it means you've got to try music on, or some sort of meditation music, 420 hertz, fine. If it doesn't work for you, it may work better for you if just to have nothing. You know, I do this best, is to have no music, no electronics around me, just peace and quiet, and just breathe. Focus on your breathing with your eyes closed, as I showed earlier, and, you know, don't think. If you have a thought, let it come, let it go, and just be at nothing, and just allow things to just be. Do that for a while and see how things go. Number 34 is yoga. So I did yoga last year, I think. I had a really good yoga teacher. Really, really a lot harder than we think. Really demanding and high intensity. So, but it keeps you flexibility, keeps you nimble. I think yoga is really great for people to try and just give it a shot. Give it a shot if you. I mean, we're at home now, so, you know, there's a lot of channels and things online where you can find these courses and find people doing it, and just give it a try one day. So far, but just, you know, let me know how things are going. If you've got any comments to make so far, if you think these are useful, then great, let me know. Any questions or want anything further, then yeah, just give us a shout. But number 35, collecting. So whether it's toys, pogs, cards, stamps, you know, I've collected cars in the past, coins, toys, whatever you're into. Just buy things and just hold on to them, and they may be worth it. The better things are, you know, things that appreciate of a value that other people are into as well, and they're gonna just gain in value over time. That's great. So, you know, just feeding your passion and your purpose with, if that's something that really interests you. Number 36 is reading. It's not been so easy for me to pick up and sit and read a book. I'm too many things going on. I've probably read 2 full books back to back in the last 10 years. Reason being is it gets so difficult. So I've had to dive into books and dive out. But Audible and audiobooks and things can be really great. I've gone into so many books by doing so, and what you find is through life, I mean, it took me up to such a time to really get the confidence to be able to do this, to have the knowledge and experience to be able to speak and tell people these things. And a major part of why I've got to this position so early on is because of the mentors and the advice and the lessons I've gained from other people and their lives, and other people that are successful, without me having to go through it and endure it myself. Now, many things I have gone through myself that I wouldn't wish upon anybody, truthfully. I wouldn't, even some of the great things I wouldn't wish on, because I don't know how other people would have coped or reacted or responded in these times when I've dealt with countless things, racism, bullying, and all sorts of things. So, but by having mentors that you can listen to or read or relate to and grow and gain from their personal experiences is so helpful. If you don't have a mentor in your realm or around you, then through reading and audios are really powerful ways of getting that. And for growing yourself, the more you learn, the higher your IQ is going to be, the more you know as a person. Anyway, number 37 is traveling. A bit difficult right now, but traveling is fantastic. The more you can do, the better. I think once a director in the medical industry said to me, he said, yeah, if you travel so much, you sort of have enough of it and you don't want to do it anymore, but people that don't travel really want to do it. I've traveled a hell of a lot in my life, and yeah, it can get tedious, especially if it's just for work. But if you can travel and actually experience the place that you're in and see some sights, learn the culture, the history, meet some people, some locals, even try and learn some local dialect, you're going to grow as a person. You're really going to expand your horizons and realize this bubble that we're in, wherever it is in the world, whatever country, it's still a bubble. You're still in that realm of reality. So by going to these other places, you're going to experience what other people are like and what their outlooks, and you really be humbled, but you'll also grow from meeting these people and having these experiences. Also, your independence. I travel a lot on my own for many reasons, but worth doing. Even if it's a road trip right now because things are hard, or as mentioned earlier, a bike ride, whatever. Just travel, get out and just adventure. Number 38 is cooking. I'm a hand cook, won't cook sort of person, purely because I don't really have time for it. But cooking can be really therapeutic, really rewarding, and have a lot of cooking shows on now. It's a new big thing where you can be so creative. There's so many companies, so many individuals that are doing their own cakes, or vegan food and things that are really great in my area, and I'm so supportive of them because I think their foods are great, but they've done something. They've pulled out something that they had within them that they wanted to do, and they're doing it to help other people, but for themselves as well. And I think it's brilliant. So cooking is it can be really, really good. Just going for something that you enjoy. Something I do a lot more of though is number 39, which is gardening. So I do garden a bit more. Some trees, apple trees, pear trees. We've got loads of fruit and veg. It can be very time consuming, but it can be very rewarding as well. Very therapeutic, very relaxing. And plus, the best fruit and veg you can actually have sometimes is the stuff that you grow yourself. It tastes incredible. Number 40 is learning other skills, whether it's through reading, working, apprenticeships, mentoring, audiobooks, courses, workshops, websites, whatever. There are so many skills we can learn, and just think of life like think of life like Batman. Think of life like you've got this utility belt, and everything that you can learn is just equipping into your belt, and you're just further developing and growing and being more independent but self-sufficient, so you don't have to depend on nobody. You can, if you need something done, you can do it yourself, and I believe in that so much. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got an amazing team of people on both Inspired by Shane and on the CBD that have really helped these dreams become reality. But if it wasn't through me learning on my own how to get these things done, then I'd be dependent on these people and other people, or more people than I need to be, which may mean that these dreams aren't such a reality because I don't have the skills to be able to excel and do them on my own. So skills, like as mentioned, I've done so many jobs in my past, some great jobs, some not so great jobs, but I've picked up what I've needed to pick up in them positions, and the skills are when you do them things, you may think, when is this ever going to come in handy? You'll be surprised at how handy and how helpful some experiences in our lives can be. Um, so never frown upon things and never look down at an opportunity or a job, or even if you need to just make ends meet, or you're just curious about a particular field. Um, when I did dental, I learned a hell of a lot about the dental anatomy and all of that industry online. Same with when I was in medical, doing interventional cardiology, neuroradiology, and vascular. My bread and butter, day in day out, I was with an interventional cardiologist, with patients on the bed day in day out, selling them products in live cases. So if it wasn't for me to really choose to be an expert in that field, and I've done that in every field, every job I've done, is I choose to be an expert in that field. If I don't know what I'm doing, how am I going to help anybody else? It doesn't happen. So you've got to choose to excel yourself and learn as much as physically possible if you want to grow, whether it's a job, whether it's just a personal thing, whatever. But that's how we get anywhere by growth. My boss actually in medical said this to me once in a case. I won't go into the whole case and whatever, but the point that he's made was, it was about a legendary interventional cardiologist that we worked with, one of the first in the world, really renowned. And he took our advice and what we suggested on board in a case, which led to the success of the case and the safety of the child that was on the operating bed. And what he said to me was, look, see, this is why he is the master. This is why he's Yoda, because when you're green, you're growing, and when you're brown, you're dying. Because even though he's one of the best in the world, he still took on board advice from nobody's really, and it led to his success. So even though he knows more than most people, he still took on board our advice in the case, which led to his success. So at the top of the game, you can still be growing no matter what. And just very important just to keep in mind. Learning is a vital part of life. You'll never stop learning until the day we die. I can promise you that. Number 41 is astrology. To each their own. Astrology, there may be some truth, there may not be. Horoscopes can sort of relate to a lot of people, but again, if it really resonates with you, when you feel there is some continuity or some synergy with what they're saying, and it relates to you so strongly. There are more things to astrology that I don't know too much about, but they could really speak volumes to you, and you could really believe in it and be passionate about it. And if so, fantastic. But that's something that you can keep in mind and as something. But number 42 is learning, whether it's about history, culture, people, languages. So not quite similar about skills, but learning skills, but learning just generally about things, because history is important to know where we came from, who we are, and history is a cycle. It's a pattern of behaviour. Cultures, there's so much we can learn from so many other people. We'll learn something from every single person in our lives, is what I believe. Number 43 is generosity. So not just giving things because you want to get something from it, just giving because it's the right thing to do. Generosity is such a huge thing, but I don't really have too much to say about it. But the more you do, the better you'll feel, and the more you help other people. So don't think that you have a bucket and there's only, say, I don't know, £3 in there, and when you spend them or give them £3 out, that's the end of the world. Well, not quite. Like, I may have them £3, and I may go to a shop and I might buy something for £2, or maybe want to get something for £3, and spend all of my money on food. And there may be someone there that is £1 short, and she's buying her food for the shopping. Okay, cool. I may put one of the things back that I'm buying and get £2 worth of stuff. I give her that £1. Now I've given her, right at that point, 33% of the liquid cash that I have available to me. And it's not something that I've not even done in my life. Like, you do it, you spend it on yourself, you spend it on the other person, and before you know it, you will find that £3 is there, and more so, and more than that. You know, the world, the universe will just conspire to support you in what you do, and start to return the favor, and then some. So I've always been quite generous just by nature. I've always been given more than I've ever needed or wanted. Not wanted, but been given that more than I needed. So I've just been giving and been trying to help and love people throughout my life. Now, was that the right thing in terms of relationships and stuff? Maybe not, because you catch yourself short or whatever in times. But being a generous person, I feel, is still the right thing to do. You just got to grow as a person and be mindful of what you're doing and of who you're being generous with, because sometimes you can be giving to the wrong people. So just being mindful of learning and adapting, evolving in life. Number 44, quantum physics. And I'm no expert, but my observations and learnings from others, and like rules of the universe and forces, energy, harmonic rhythm, and how it's applied in, say, my life, and magnetic forces that just happen because of the things that I've mentioned earlier in this video, and how it's conspired for me to literally, like, I created creating things for you, sorry, the universe conspires for you to succeed. So when I was in my last role and I was creating on the CBD in the last, say, 6 months, I would think, oh, I want to do clothes, or I want to do beverages, or I want to do whatever it might be. And next thing you know, I would be getting phone calls for that specific thing. And this wasn't a one-off. This was happening more in the last year and a half and 2 years than has ever happened in my life. And it's happened a lot in my life. This last couple of years was a bombardment of just magnetism. Everything was coming to me. And I feel like the more understanding of quantum physics, and the more understanding of religion and beliefs and the whole structure and law of attraction and doing the right thing and helping others are all entangled. They're all part of the same, entangled, similar to quantum physics, entangled particles. All these things, they're all part of the same. They all cause and effect. They always have an impact. What we believe, what we speak, what we do has an impact. Even if it's just something that we do and we know ourselves. Now, whether you believe in God or the universe or the energy or anything, but you know yourself. If you stole something, you know yourself that's wrong. So that feeling alone, nobody knew about it, but you knew yourself. That feeling alone is going to bring on negativity, because you and the energy in the ultimate know, and that will bring on negative and serve justice, and vice versa if it's positive. So just wanted to go into that. Number 45, movies, documentaries, quiz shows, and things that you're watching. I mean, we can sit there and watch and binge and watch all sorts of like dramas and horrors and stuff, but they're not going to be positive, because what we consume is our reality. So if we're watching things that are positive and helping us grow and widen our horizons, or be more positive or be happier, I would highly recommend watching things like that. And I may go into further videos and detail of things and some examples. Sorry, it's freezing in here. We're nearly done. So number 46 is proper rest. So getting at least, say, 6 to 8 hours a night is important. Your body needs to recover, your mind, all these things need to recover. So worth getting some good sleep in if you can. But anyway, that was my 46 ways on how to cope with self-isolation and depression in the new year 2021. And this is being my first YouTube video. Like, comment and share if you liked or disliked this, and if you've got any suggestions of your own, let us know. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell for notifications of future content. Thank you, and we'll speak soon.